Welcome to Hidden Histories.
The year was 1978. Jim Jones led 900 followers of his cult, the People's Temple, to commit suicide in Guyana. The first ever arcade video game, Space Invaders, took over pool halls, bowling alleys, pizza parlors, and convenience stores, laundromats, movie theater lobbies, family Mexican restaurants, and arcades. Jim Davis's groundbreaking cartoon Garfield, about a morbidly obese, lasagna-loving tabby, debuted in newspapers across the nation. And John Travolta was burning up the silver screen with both Grease and Saturday Night Fever dominating the box office. The world's most successful independent filmmaker, who had reshaped the landscape of American cinema the year prior, was about to pass on the empire he had built. He was selling it to the Walt Disney Company for a single Disney dollar. He also had with him a metal box containing his father's frozen head. He planned to return the head to the Disney representative and then go out to his car and end his life. All of the dreams of the young bearded filmmaker had come true as he had mustered the courage to pursue them, and the monkey was finally off his back. Disneyland was founded by a man named Walt Disney in Anaheim, California in 1950, a place where fantasy and reality overlapped for thrill seekers from all over the world. It was a new and novel idea, the theme park, and would become a great American institution that would be aped throughout all 50 states in many different shapes. But Disneyland was not the country's first theme park. The country's first theme park was founded in 1948, across the street from the future location of Disneyland. It was called The Dunes, a simple restaurant with a small backlot wooded area featuring a miniature steam engine train ride. The Dunes didn't have much on Disneyland, but it did have an amazing monkey named Jerry. Jack Jackson, owner and curator of the Dunes, famously said, "Walt ripped me off, but I'll tell you what, he doesn't have Jerry." Jack and his wife Janice raised Jerry as their child. Jerry was toilet trained, ate at the dinner table, dressed himself in the morning, and put himself to bed at night. The chimp amused garden guests in the daytime, watering plants and digging holes around the 14-acre wood after hours. 2 years later, Disneyland was an instant hit and a worldwide phenomenon, racking up over 100,000 visitors a day and making a vault full of money for Walt. However, the Dunes and Jack Jackson's special monkey Jerry continued to pull in about 300 visitors a week, 0.001% of Disney's daily attendance. Disney was furious. He needed to strike back. On October 5, 1950, Disney dictated to his secretary, Fay L. Bechtel,
"I'm going apeshit here, Fay. Write this down. That goddamn jerk Jackson is making a monkey out of me, jacking our visitors with that damn dirty ape Jerry. Are you getting this?"
"Yes, sir."
"Good. I want to put a bullet in that monkey's skull. Blow his head clean off. Maybe I need to get a hold of some of my associates from my misspent youth."
Walt Disney was born December 1st, 1900 as Walter Dursney in Dover, Delaware to Donald and Daisy Dursney, both small-time criminals and grifters. Like most children of his day, his life was far from a barrel of monkeys. He failed to finish the 4th grade, and to supplement the family's income at the age of 9, he was sent off to work in a factory that produced oversized novelty buttons. In his troubled teens, he was described as a disturbed delinquent by over a dozen doctors of psychology. In his early 20s, Dursney fell in with a wretched hive of scum and villainy. The infamous murderer and bank robber Mickey the Rat Rooney, and the rest of his gang, the Rat-Keteers, Minnie the Mooch, Geppetto, the twin brothers Chip and Dale, and the notorious hitman, McDuck. Dursney became the firebug for the gang and was given the nickname Tinkerbell because if Dursney tinkered with your building, you were sure to hear fire bells. In 1947, Dursney was convicted of starting the Berkeley Fire. That fire started on Christmas Eve at the Starlight Hotel and consumed 640 structures, including 584 homes. He was sentenced to only 2 years in prison because he was a white male. During his incarceration, Disney began studying meditation and the power of visualization under the tutelage of fellow inmate George Goofy Garris, a man whose horrifying appearance, both dog-like and horse-like, disguised his kind heart and deep spirituality as much as his conviction for mass murder did. In a prison diary entry dated October 5th, 1949, Disney wrote,
"Visualize it. Visualize it. Like Goofy taught you. Wish. Wish upon a star, a mouse, a dog, a duck, a mountain made of space, another made of thunder, splash, a teacup where you are the tea, a flight to Neverland, a voyage under the sea, a magical kingdom, the happiest place on earth, the happiest place on earth."
Despite having only 1 week left in his sentence, Disney escaped from prison on December 5th, 1949, and immediately changed his name to Walt Disney to evade the authorities. Then, with a small loan from Berkeley, California real estate entrepreneur Wilbur Smith, he executed his plan to create Disneyland. On the evening of October 23, 1950, Walt's old associate, McDuck, reported to Disney's private suite, located in Disneyland's ultra-secret Club 33. The two made their way over to the dunes. As they approached the front entrance to the park, Disney suddenly demanded that he be the one to pull the trigger. McDuck handed over his revolver, and they proceeded. They found Jerry in the back of the property, digging a hole. Jerry the monkey had no idea he was digging his own grave. The following morning, the headline of the LA Times read, "Dunes Burns Down, Jerry the Monkey Missing, and Owner Jack Too." The very next day, in a publicity stunt that would send his destiny across the stars, the LA Times ran a front cover photo of Disney with Jerry the monkey. The headline read, "Disney Saves Jerry." However, it wasn't the real Jerry in the photo. In an attempt to hide his heinous murder and get a few more visitors to Disneyland, Disney had purchased an elderly, lethargic, and untrained monkey named Yoda from his friend H.R. Pennybacker, who owned a private hunting ranch in Texas. The story took on a life of its own and quickly became international news. The world wanted to see Jerry the monkey digging holes and brushing his teeth at Disneyland. With press from around the globe on their way to the Magic Kingdom to cover Walt's heroic deed, Disney knew the incapacitated old monkey wouldn't fool anyone in person. With a monkey wrench thrown into his plans, he would need to hatch another scheme. George Lucas was born in Berkeley, California in 1941 to Leah and Lando Lucas, owners of a small engine repair shop, Grease Monkeys. They lived in a small motel called the Starlight. His early childhood was happy, but in what could only be described as a nightmare before Christmas, on December 24, 1947, his parents were tragically killed in a fire. Without any close relatives to care for him, Lucas became an orphan. The only surviving document from his youth was a report card noting George as curious and inquisitive, with a tendency to monkey around. Only 3 years later, Walt Disney was in the market for an orphan. He needed a young child, and quick, to don a monkey suit and perform as Jerry the monkey.
God damn it, Faye. Are you getting this? What do I look like? A monkey's uncle? I need a 9-year-old child. I don't care if it can read. It just has to be toilet trained, eat at the dinner table, water plants, dig holes, dress itself in the morning, and put itself to bed at night. And it has to be skinny enough to fit into a monkey suit. No fatties. Oh. And I need a monkey suit.
George Lucas was purchased for $3,000 from the 6th Street Morningside Orphanage and immediately placed in a monkey suit that he would wear for the remainder of his youth. The press ate it up. They bought the cheeky ruse hook, line, and sinker. The patrons of the park were enamored. George, or rather, Jerry, roamed freely around the park, watering plants, digging holes, and occasionally tossing a small child 10 or more feet into the air over and over as they giggled with glee. On one occasion, a small boy named Marty became so enamored with Jerry he followed him around the whole day, foregoing all of the rides and usual monkey business the park was so known for. Extraordinarily, the two became pen pals. George's home life, however, was no fantasy land. Lucas's room at Disney's massive estate was a cage that he was forced to share with Yoda, the aging orangutan. Instead of doing the humane thing and putting Yoda down, Disney had kept him on when he discovered that he had a talent for monkeying with electronics and used the elderly ape to repair robots and empty trash receptacles around the park. Yoda became George's only friend, aside from his pen pal Marty. It was monkey see, monkey do as he learned how to live as an ape. A truly symbiotic relationship. Lucas would carry the old weak ape on his back when he needed to go repair a robot in the park, and Yoda would pick fleas out of George's monkey suit to eat. George's childhood was a wild ride. His relationship with his father was a Matterhorn of complexity. Disney was sometimes extremely loving, but at other times could be cold enough to freeze the balls off a brass monkey. The two were inseparable, but George was never allowed to speak or take off his monkey suit.
I keep forgetting that you're not my real dad. I keep forgetting that I am not a real monkey. I keep forgetting things weren't always this bad. I keep forgetting. Every tiny tear just dries up inside my nest. Do I need a beer? You know you don't have to rest. How will I know when we're having fun that you think of me like a legitimate son? Tell me how come I keep forgetting that you're not my real dad. I keep forgetting that.
On his worst days, Walt would make George reenact the murder of Jerry the monkey. On the 14th of September, 1964, Lucas's longtime companion, roommate, and mentor, Yoda, peacefully passed away in his sleep. George lived in the cage with his corpse for 3 days before it was discovered. On the 18th of September, just after midnight, Disney took Lucas from his cage and brought him to the middle of Main Street, USA, where he had built a fire that Yoda's body rested on. In his 1977 memoir, Going Bananas, My Life in the Hollywood Jungle, Lucas wrote,
As we stood silently in the chilly night in front of the pyre, Daddy stared blankly into the darkness and said,
When you're curious, you find lots of interesting things to do. Children are people, and they should have to reach to learn about things, to understand things. Just as adults have to reach if they want to grow in mental stature.
I had a bad feeling about this. My dark father handed me an aged book of matches. I understood that I was meant to ignite the blaze beneath my old friend and mentor. I lit the match and held it to the kindling and then watched as my old teacher burst into flames. As I stepped away from the blaze, my curiosity got the better of me, and I looked down at the matchbook that I held in my hand. The name on the cover was plain to see, the Starlight Hotel. Daddy bent down, the flames reflected in his eyes, suddenly full of madness. He could only imagine the look of terror that was concealed beneath my monkey mask. He uttered two simple and chilling words.
Small world.
I keep forgetting that you're not my real dad. I keep forgetting that